In this series of videos, we've been looking at how we can create programs that respond to input from sensors. So I've gone to the Sensor Arcade program in Playgrounds on my iPad, and I found the Dashing Donuts program. Now I'm going to run this very quickly just to show you what it does. And the Dashing Donuts program is designed to respond to input from the light sensor. So you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm currently putting my finger over the light sensor. Okay, and as you can see, when I put my finger over the light sensor, the character of the sprite gets smaller. So when it's really dark, as you can see, the brightness at the in the top corner. Okay, when the brightness is low, he's very small, and when the brightness is big, he gets bigger. Okay, now on the left hand side here is the code that controls that. Okay, so if you have a look, we've got a function here called handle light update, and this tells the computer what to do when the brightness changes. Okay, so at the moment you can see that we're changing the scale of the player. All right, so the size of the player is changing as we change the brightness. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this, because what I want it to do instead is I want my player to go up and down depending on the brightness. Okay, so I'm going to take this line out and I'm going to replace it with an if statement. Okay, so I need to be really careful here because the brackets are really important. Okay, so I've kept those outer two brackets in my function, and I'm going to start with an if statement. So I'm just going to press the buttons here, if. Okay, and then what I'm interested in is the brightness. So I'm going to say if light dot brightness. Okay, so up it comes. There we go. So I'm just using the buttons. Okay, so if light dot brightness. Now I think when I was putting my finger over the camera, I was getting values between kind of like 0.2 and 0.9. In fact, you can see at the moment it's 0.9. Okay, or 0.8, sorry. All right, so 0.9, 0.8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try about halfway. So I'm going to go, if the light brightness is greater than 0.5. Okay, so if it is, now look, you can see that when I put my if statement in, it's given me these brackets. I've got a bracket and another bracket there, and it says code. So I'm going to click on the code bit, and in there I'm going to tell it what to do if the light brightness is greater than 0.5. Now what I want it to do if the light brightness is greater than 0.5 is I want to move the sprite. So I'm going to find over here, I should be able to grab the, there you go, there's the sprite. The sprite's called player, so I'm going to say player dot. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him move up. So you can play around with all of these. I've got a whole lot of different options here, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply an impulse. I kind of think about like I'm pushing him. All right, so I'm going to apply an impulse. Now I'm going to apply an impulse in the y direction. So I'm not going to change x. So I'm going to leave x as 0. I'm just going to put 0 in there, and I'm going to click on this other double, and I'm going to put a number in there. I'm going to put 30 in there. Okay, so now what should happen is if we test this, so I'm going to test this now. So I've got this if statement in here, okay, and I'm going to run my code and I'm going to see what happens. All right, so now when I put my finger over, okay, there you go, you can see that when the brightness is greater than 0.5, which it is at the moment, you can see he's going up. Okay, you can see he's going up. Now when I put when I put my finger back over it, it stops going up. Okay, that means because I'm applying the impulse to make it go up. Okay, when I put my finger over, it drops. Okay, so that's how you can change this code to make your character respond to input from the light sensor. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is mess around with some of the values. Okay, so what happens if you change this value? Okay, so have a play around with that. What happens if you change this value? The 30, what happens if you change that? Okay, and then the other thing that you can try is what happens if you add an else statement. So if you go to add else statement, and what can you make it do if you add an else statement? Okay, so what can you make it do if the light level is less than 0.5? All right, so have a play around with the Dashing Donuts program and see if you can create a program that responds in different ways to changing the light levels. Thanks for watching.